Distinguished Alumni is Mr. Randy Grimes. A former Baylor Hall of Fame and professional football player, Randy spent over 20 years battling addiction to painkillers developed while treating sports-related injuries. He now uses his inspiring story of recovery and his more than 12 years in the addictions industry to help victims of drug and alcohol abuse. Here to introduce Randy is his wife, Lydia Brady Grimes.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm happy and proud to introduce my husband, Randy Grimes. I met this tall, good-looking Tyler boy from Baylor-loving family on my first day at Baylor. I was smitten. Some of our fondest memories are our Baylor days and the friendships we've made. We married after our junior year and lived our senior year in a duplex on 5th Street. Didn't have a penny to our name, but it was great memories. Randy played football for the wonderful coach Grant Taft from 1979 to 82. He's a proud member of the Peach Bowl team of 1979 and the Cotton Bowl team of 1980. As a result of the excellent coaching and training at Baylor, he was drafted in the second round to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He played 10 years at center and was a rock on the offensive line. The years took its toll on Randy's body. He struggled with addiction to pain pills, but with the Lord's help, he began a life of recovery 12 and a half years ago. Randy uses his story to help others who are struggling with addiction. He helps get those who are suffering with this disease into treatment, educates families, and advocates for better treatment resources. We've had the joy of watching the chains of addiction be broken, help families be reunited, and celebrated others as they begin a new life in recovery. He has worked with every professional sport to help current and retired players into treatment. His non-profit, Pro Athletes in Recovery, is set up to help anyone with treatment and aftercare. Randy sums up our experiences in his new book. It's called Off Center. I had to put a little advertisement in there. Thank you so much for honoring Randy for the work he does. And we give God the glory for healing Randy, restoring our marriage, our family, and equipping him to be a light to others. Thank you so much.
You know, for many years, I prayed that God would open the gates of heaven and let me in. But instead, he opened the gates of hell and let me out. On September 22nd, 2009, I had 40 feet to crawl through a door into the last hope that I had at a hospital out in West Palm Beach. And I crawled that last 40 feet on all fours through that door. Nobody helped me, and I'm glad they didn't, because that was my greatest accomplishment in life. Was crawling through the door that night. Even over the birth of my children, my marriage, all the football accolades, if I don't crawl through the door that night, then it was all for nothing. I'm so grateful for this award tonight, to be here. My time at Baylor was unbelievable. The friendships that I made, the relationships that I had, that I still have today. Meeting my wife the first day of school, marrying her after my junior year, playing for the great Grant Taft, and all the things I learned from him and still think of on a daily basis. All the great players that I played with here, and the great students that I still have relationships with. This was such an awesome experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. Crawling in that door that night was the greatest thing that I ever did. I'm open with my recovery because I think that's the only way we're ever going to beat this disease. And no matter where I speak, and I ask people that's been affected by addiction in any way to raise their hand. Every hand goes up. I want to educate. In 2007, I stood at a podium just like this and accepted the awards, accepted my induction into the Baylor Athletic Hall of Fame. Right in the middle of my full-blown addiction, full of guilt, full of shame. I thank you for allowing me to come back 14 years later, 12 and a half years sober, and shameless. Thank you for letting me do that. Thank you for honoring alumni. It's so important. And I'm just so grateful that I'm here tonight. I got to give a shout out to my mother who was going to be here, but because of weather, Gay Davis, my sister, Roxanne Shelton. But don't let me leave the stage without introducing you to the real hero of my story. And she's right here. So thank you very much.